of us would have to have brunette hair. You've got 2 redheads. Do you know? You should be scared.
You should be like a strawberry patch. Like a strawberry
Strawberry blonde. We're the strawberry blonde team.
Yeah.
Strawberry blonde.
So you're going to rename Sippi Girls?
No.
The
We got 2
Strawberry
other
Blondes?
girls
Is
that
my
are...
husband watching yet? Probably not. If my husband is watching, FYI, went and got a haircut yesterday. It's pretty short. You have not seen it yet.
It looks very sophisticated.
She is making
I'm gonna be in trouble.
announcements. Oh my God.
He doesn't know it yet.
Hey, hang on. We might as well on live
No.
show how short your hair is.
No.
And get his
My
reaction.
my granny's watching too, and my sister-in-law. They probably gonna be both pissed at me.
I like
I'm
it.
good. It's cute.
It is. I like it.
Okay. Anyway.
It's long enough to
Go
put
ahead.
up. There you go. Okay, we've got the Sippi Girls here today. So why don't all 3 of you introduce yourselves, and then tell us a little bit about how you got into, hunting and fishing and living outdoors, and then after that we'll move into talking about your organization.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I am Ivana Williams, and I got into hunting and fishing. Oh, sorry. So I got into hunting and fishing about a year ago, and I haven't done that many hunts. I've done a quail hunt at the Governor's Hunt, and we just did one that I'm sure we'll talk about in a little bit. And I've done a elk hunt.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did you get an elk?
I did. It was only about 100 yards away,
Wow.
less than that. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to miss. But other than that, I have not done any other hunting. And
Okay.
so I'm trying to get into it. And maybe with the experience of these ladies and the other girls in the group, then they can teach me along the way.
So what do you do for a living?
So I'm in law enforcement. I've been in law enforcement for over 10 years.
Okay.
Off and on. I have 4 kids. So for the past 5 years, almost 5 years, I've been at one agency. I work for a state agency here in Mississippi.
Okay.
All right, your turn.
Okay. My name is Emma Powell. I am. Give you a little bit about my background. I did not grow up hunting. That all came along whenever I met my husband, and I got involved in it through his friendships, but then also turned into my friendships, which I'll get to a little bit later. But my background comes from a livestock youth industry. I was really involved in 4-H and FFA, and I showed livestock my entire youth career as I could, all the way up to the age that I was 21. My husband and I currently own a registered seed stock operation where we have registered Angus cattle and a few other businesses that we run in there. We sell hay. My husband bales about 1,000 acres a year that we send out to not only the customers in Mississippi, but also, especially right now, in Texas and Oklahoma. So that's what we do right now. But in the spare time, one of the things that I've got involved in, and only because I met my husband, I was one of those type people that never wore camouflage, didn't think anything of it, did not want to do it. But when I met my husband, he introduced me to this world, and it was kind of fun. But then at the same time, I think it was around Memorial Day weekend, a group of my husband's friends decided that they should all get the wives together. And that was the weekend that I had met Ashley for the first time. And I think all of the husbands now pretty much regret it, because we go do things together, and we have quote unquote therapy groups that we do together, and we have just hit it off. It was one of those times where we all needed each other, and we all came into each other's lives. I think God wanted it that way. And it's been a whirlwind. So I owe a lot of thanks to my hunting, quote unquote, career because of my husband, but also because of the friends that he got me introduced to. And I met Ivana through Ashley. Okay. So we've all hit it off, and this is so much fun getting to go to, again, quote unquote, deer camp that the husbands all get to do, but the wives get to do it together.
Hey, y'all. My name is Ashley Jones. I'm on History Channel's Swamp People. This is my 5th season to have just filmed, and I did not grow up hunting. It's something that just came about for me about 8 years ago, and it's something that just completely changed my life. I was able to have an outlet to express, whether, I'm not feeling good or I'm feeling great and I want to go out there and do that, or if it's just kind of one of those times where I'm feeling down and it brings me back up. So hunting has completely changed my life, and I hope to bring new people into this lifestyle so that they're able to get the same out of it that I do. It's not meant for everybody, but at the same time, if you're not introduced to it, it's hard to know if that's something that you really, really need.
Yeah.
And this has been something that I've really, really needed my whole life. And it actually landed me on a show called Swamp People. This is my 5th year to, film. And it's just incredible to me. I meet a lot of really awesome people. I get to do a lot of things that a lot of people would never get to experience. And I just owe a lot to just, who I am as a person to being in the outdoors.
Yeah.
You're sitting there and, you have to be patient. You have to prepare. There's so many things that come along with being prepared and just planning for your whole life, that you can attribute to hunting and being out. And so we're highly encouraging other females to get into the outdoor industry, and that's kind of what our foundation is about, with you coming in and having somewhere you can go that's safe. I mean, we're 3 women. We know, there's going to be potential creepy guys like messaging, hey, look, I'll take you out and this and that. And they may not feel comfortable doing that. And
I didn't
we're,
think about that.
yeah.
Oh.
We're kind of just trying to make an outlet where women can come and go with us, or we can take them, and that way, it can hopefully change their lives the way that it has ours.
Yeah.
We've all had really good experiences in the outdoors, and it's been just a great outlet for us. Gives you a lot of confidence, being able to handle your firearm, knowing that if something were to happen, you're confident enough to protect yourself and your family.
Yeah. And I think you hit on something there. I think people who don't hunt have this idea that people who do just walk outside and start killing things. And there's so much more to it in the way of preparation and developing the skills it takes to, humanely kill an animal, not wound it and gore it. And but all of that goes into, there's an entire body of knowledge you have to learn. That's a very actually diverse body of knowledge, everything from weather patterns and botany to animal husbandry. We hunted with dogs today. Those dogs have to be cared for. Their innate talent has to be cultivated. So I think you hit on something there, because it's reflective of your life in general. Like the better you do those things hunting, the better you're going to do them in your real life in terms of preparedness and development.
Yeah, and just perseverance,
Yeah. And like when I was growing up right here in Tallahatchie County in the Mississippi Delta, like if I think about it, the girls that were in my classroom, like in my grade, I don't think any of them hunted. I may be wrong, but if they did, it was very few. A few years later, like my brother's 3 grades behind me, and maybe a couple of girls in his class did, and a few girls below him, like they were starting to a little bit, but it was entirely, it wasn't that it was male dominated. It was, I didn't know women who hunted.
Right.
When I was growing up, and we've been doing Trout Valley quail for 12 or 13 years now, and I would say the first several years, no women came, like none. And within the last, I was telling y'all earlier, within the last 3 or 4, those numbers have picked up a lot. And we're starting to see more and more women call and get interested in it. And I've sold a couple of bird dogs that we've bred to women, which I love to see, because, handling bird dogs is fun. And I want to see women enjoy it and get involved in it. So I think, do you think that's a social media driven phenomenon, or
I don't know. I don't know if it's so much as social media drawn, because I mean, I grew up before social media,
yeah,
and it was always just, it's a male dominant sport, and that's what I thought the entire time. I mean, I didn't. I mean, I grew up in an agriculture industry, so my parents, we ran beef cattle and that kind of stuff. So we didn't do a lot of hunting. We were introduced to it a little bit through my brother, from other people, his friends, and some other people wanting to take him. But it just, I think it's more just well known as a dominant sport, and it's getting to where you can have those girlfriends, or leave men out of it. When you meet girlfriends that normally, we'd be just going out to dinner and not doing this type of thing, we wouldn't even think about it until right now.
yeah,
So it's almost like it's something that's totally out of our realm. And I think, like you said, you have a lot of women that come now. It's once you get out there and you realize it, like, oh my gosh, this is fun. I don't need a man to do this. This is fun,
yeah.
I think it's like also just like in our genes,
Mm-hmm.
to provide.
Yeah.
I know that everybody assumes that we're supposed to be the gatherers, but I think that being able to provide food, and not only that, but just our confidence to know that we can go out there and do that. I mean, that's huge for me. I think that that's like what makes me get up in the mornings. Like, there may be a huge buck, but at the same time, there may be just a doe out there, and just a doe to other people is 6 meals to my family of 5.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think that there's a lot of different things that drive it, but also to know that, hey, look, you can do it just as good as your husband, and maybe better.
Uh-oh.
I shot that deer and you didn't. You missed it. I shot it down.
I made the mistake of introducing my wife to fly fishing, and I took her to Arkansas, and we got a guide, and I thought, this is the way my mind used to work. Well, this will be great, because the guide can teach her how to fish, and I can just be catching them. Like, no pressure on me. He's going to take care of her, and if she likes it, then that'll be something fun we can do together. If she doesn't, she'll understand at least like why I love it, and it won't be any big deal for me to run off to Arkansas for a couple of days whenever I want to. So I thought, I thought this is a win-win all the way around. And we get out in the boat, and the guide is like teaching her how to just do a basic cast and how to do a basic drift in the current, and she like throws it out there a couple of times and immediately catches a fish. And I was happy for her. I was in the front of the boat.
Were you really?
I know,
Yeah.
I was like, because I thought, man, if she catches a fish that easily, like, she's gonna like it. She's gonna enjoy it, because it's fun, especially on a fly rod. It's fun. And she's listening to the guide, and she's reeling this fish in. She's stripping the line back, and I was watching her kind of beaming with pride. And she never looked at me. She just held up a finger, and she goes, "That's one." Like,
Oh, a switch turn.
yeah. And I looked down, and I was like, oh, I just created a monster. And she went on over the next like hour and a half. I didn't catch a fish, and she's just hauling them out of the river and running her mouth the whole time.
Yeah.
That's what I do bow fishing.
And that guy, like, he swung the boat around at one point, and he leaned over to where I was, and he said, "I don't mean to tell you your business, brother, but you need to put a fish in the boat. She is killing you." And I looked at him, and I said, "You think I don't know that? You're the guide putting me on a fish." I said, "I think I know what's happening. I think you're doing this." But no, she
This was all calculated.
yeah. But she loved it, and then later we went out to New Mexico and fished on the San Juan River, and it was the same thing, except I was catching most of the fish, but then she catches just an absolute hog, like this huge 25-inch rainbow. Just, I mean, and the whole time she's reeling it in, I'm trying to, get in her head so maybe it'll break off, because I know that if she catches that fish, I will never hear the end of it. And that was in 2015. She brought it up like last week. Hey, you remember when we were on the San Juan and I caught that fish? I had to hold it like this, and you just caught those little ones? I'm like, yeah, I remember.
Big crowds.
I remember. But I think it would be great, like if like the points of access. I think for men, they're really easy. My dad was a member of 2 deer camps when I was growing up. So every opening weekend, Thanksgiving week, Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, and then short hunt the last weekend. I mean, that's me and my dad and brother. That's what we did, and in between then, he owned some really good duck hunting property around here, and was in leases, and so we duck hunted all the time. Again, never saw a woman, never saw a girl, but I think about that. I'm like, well, the access to it is easy for men because that's just the way it's always been. So I wonder, with your Sippi Girls organization, how does it work with y'all getting access to things, to land, camps, ground that's developed for hunting? Do y'all have your own? Do your husbands have? Y'all mentioned deer camp. Are y'all members of deer camps? And like, how does it work?
Well, right now it's so new. Like, we just literally formed the foundation.
Okay.
And it's, of course, us 3, and then we have 2 other women that are not here today. But we are wanting to not only give back and allow young girls to come out and hunt and have a safe environment to do so, but we're also wanting to do other community organizations, other events, to raise money for nonprofit charities that are not only for ourselves but other people. And we were talking about it on the way up here as far as what type of events we could do and who can we team up with. And so right now it's all of, we're just trying to network.
Yeah.
Not only with the land like you talked about, we're trying to network to get those hunts going, to get those fishing experiences going, but also to see who would want to team up with us to try to do an organization event. So we actually thought about doing Mardi Gras ball in February, and so we're looking for places to have that event, and
just in time for turkey season.
Right.
Yeah.
Mardi Gras / turkey ball.
So this is our way to really get our point across, our organization across to the masses, is to do lives and to do podcasts and really just experience the hunt and get to talk to the people who invite us to those hunts and grow from there. So,
and I think too, like just as you explained, taking your wife and seeing the fire that it lit in her, I think that a lot of landowners and people that would be able to contribute to what our effort is, I think that they could be able to get behind that, because I mean, who wouldn't want to get somebody else involved in the outdoors, whether it's their significant other, their daughter, just a female that they're friends with, whatever. I think that would be just, the ultimate payoff, teaching them something new that they didn't have, because it's always going to light a fire under you. I mean, just being out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me back up, because I should have probably asked this before, but tell me, and you just touched on a lot of it, but tell me about Sippi Girls. How did y'all meet, and how did you start? And so it's a foundation. Mm-hmm. Okay. So y'all are. I need to introduce y'all to my wife. She works at the Community Foundation of Northwest Mississippi. She's their development director.
okay. Yeah.
So remind me, I need to get y'all in touch with her, because
Absolutely.
might be helpful.
All right. So I don't know. Do we have to keep switching this around? Can you hear us pretty good?
It helps when you do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we all met at the Wildlife Extravaganza. They had a women's panel, and me and Ashley were part of the panel. And then, of course, Ashley and Emma are good friends, and so Emma was there in attendance. And so whenever we were doing the women's panel, we were just I was looking around, and I saw the dynamic between all of us women, and right now, unfortunately, it's not everybody that was in that group that is a part of the foundation. However, we still want them to be a part of it as much as they can be, but unfortunately with their schedules, they weren't able to do so. But we saw that there was a need in having women in the outdoors and really broadcasting that there are women hunters and there are women who are involved in not only hunting, but just being outdoors, whether it's cattle or, it might be even kayaking or hiking or, being on equestrian team or whatever it might be. But we want to make it aware that there are women out there that do it. And if you aren't doing it now, we have a safe environment for you to participate in it.
Yeah.
And it's also a bunch of women together. It can be comical. So our eventual goals is to have it possibly on a network so we can broadcast and showcase the foundation more.
Yeah.
But right now it's just us going out and we film a little bit and we'll put it on YouTube and see who likes it and go from there.
Okay.
I think one of the big things that, coming in and not being a hunter prior to since I met my husband, but I never had I never knew anybody that was in the hunting environment, never knew anybody that was in this type of environment that could teach me and lead me like my group of girlfriends like Ashley and Ivana, or even some of our other girlfriends that we have. So I think it's even an outlet to where we can, as women, because we're in this environment now, single mothers can bring their children into it, and we can be that, let's say, the outlet to teach them this kind of outdoors and that kind of stuff that they might not be exposed to anywhere else, because like I said, there are single mothers or we don't know circumstances and stuff like that. But I'm the first person that's firsthand to say that hunting was never part of my life, but now that I do it, it gets therapeutic. It's bringing meat into the household that's normally the man's job and that kind of stuff. But then all of our husbands and whatnot are involved in other type of things. So it's kind of like working that partnership as well too.
Yeah.
But then for the single mothers and that kind of stuff, we want to be that outlet to where we can help youth in their development to learn these type of skills that they would never get anywhere else.
Okay. You have a lot of good work to do.
Yeah.
I like it. So today we went quail hunting. What did y'all think?
I'll let these two ladies talk because I've quail hunted before.
I, for one, had a blast.
Good.
You can go through there and talk. You don't have to sit still and be quiet. When we're turkey hunting, I mean, you can walk through there and talk, but if it starts to gobble, you just want to shut up and sit down. But we had so much fun. We got to talk and hang out, and we just had a really good time. Your dogs are excellent.
Well,
it was really cool to see how they work. This was my first time personally to quail hunt, and that was a really fun experience. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better outcome. I mean, we got a few birds, and we'll cook them up, and hopefully we'll
That's arguably the best part.
Yeah. But it was a good time because it wasn't like one of those things where it's stressful, where you're like mad because somebody shut the door too hard,
right?
Or anything like that. It was a really fun experience.
Yeah. That's what it's a very social endeavor.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's very social, and I pretty much say the exact same thing that Ashley says. You cannot ever beat a sport to where you can talk and spend time with each other and we get to just have normal conversations that we would not have in a lot of other sports. So it was a lot of fun, and it was fun watching the dogs. And where's the dog? Oh, here she is. It's right here. It's right here. Right there. So you get all excited. So yeah.
It's fun because it's like it's not real stressful. Like you don't hit the bird. Okay.
Yeah.
No big
it
deal.
flew down there. We'll go find it.
It's not but it's more of a just like at least try to do it. You know, I think it's something really great to try out on if it's something that you're newly getting into. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, you miss a turkey and you're going to lose some sleep over it.
Right.
But if you have a quail like that, you know, you miss it and it's like, oh man, you kind of let yourself down a little bit. But, you know, you have a lot of opportunities to pick yourself back up.
Yeah.
If that makes
I
sense.
tell you what's interesting is like Lily, the white setter that we were hunting with today. So I take her out, you know, by myself a lot and hunt. And if I'm not shooting well, like it visibly annoys her. like she'll be pointed and you know, I'll shoot, you know, miss a couple of shots or something, and I'll look at her and she'll just kind of
Side-eye.
like,
Not to
really,
give up on you.
what am I out here for? Yeah. You know?
It's great to see those personalities of those different dogs.
Yeah.
I mean, anything those and you get to know them. So I'm sure
Yeah.
the more that you get to train them and the more you get to know them, you'll get to learn whether or not what they're looking for and
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, compared to some of them.
Yeah, some of them are pretty hard. Some of them are just out there for their own thing, you know. So it's we started talking about that out there in the field, but it's interesting working with a dog, or in my case, working with, you know, I have a kennel of 10, and then my guide has 2 of his own. So I mean, there's a lot of dogs. It's interesting that there's always something new to learn about how to handle them. There's always something new to learn about how to train them. And people talk about having a finished bird dog, and I'm over here like, I don't know what that is, because it's never finished. You know that there's always going to be a curveball thrown at you at some point during the season.
They have the perfect wife.
Mine would never say that.
I shall not comment. So tell me about swamp people.
All right, what you want to know?
I want to know all about it. How did you get into that?
So in Mississippi, we do a lottery draw, and it's basically just, you know, you're really rolling the dice. This year, the year that I won was first come, first serve.
Okay.
And so it was basically whoever had the fastest internet. And my husband, who owns the Jones Law Firm, was on the phone with one of his NFL clients, and I came running out of the office, and I had a tag, and South Central region, which is not the best one. And I come flying out of there with my tag, and he's like, I can't believe you got a tag. But it was the first year that they did first come, first serve. And so, anyways, my dad and I got to go together. And my dad had been diagnosed with dementia about 6 days before that. And so it was something that we got to experience together, that he and I got to bond over and have that experience with just he and I.
Yeah.
And my husband wasn't able to go, and so just me and my dad went, and we ended up killing just a monster gator. And I laid across the back of it and took a picture, and the producer saw it and, you know, contacted me and asked me if, you know, I would like to come down and interview for Swamp People. And so, of course I did, you know.
Yeah.
But it still seems surreal to me. This is my 5th year to record, but it's still been like, you know, because I grew up watching the show. You know, not in my wildest dreams would I have imagined being on the show. And so it's a really cool story for me. My dad got to be here for, you know, my first couple of years filming, and now he's here with me in spirit. And so it's cool that he gets to be a part of that whole new part of my life,
that's
because I
beautiful.
mean, it's a crazy thing, and it still doesn't seem real to me at a lot of times. You know, it's something that changes your life. You get to meet a lot of people, and what's really cool is when somebody is so excited to meet you. You know, it's like, why would you be so excited to meet me? You know, and so I've gotten a lot of really close friends through it. I've learned a lot of lessons through it, and more than anything, it's been really nice to be able to make somebody's day that would never expect it. And so that's what I've gotten the most out of it.
Yeah. Very good.
Well, and you know what I will say, and Ivana and I can both say this. It's cool whenever we're all out in public somewhere and somebody will recognize Ashley from Swamp People.
Yeah.
And Ivana and I, or our friend Tish, or the whole group of us will all be together, and we get pride too because we're like, oh yeah, that's our friend.
That's
our friend right there.
Yeah, she went to the gala with me. It's Mistletoe Gala in Jackson, and I got her to come with me. And every time we would go up and talk to somebody, she would introduce herself as Ashley Jones. I'm like, yes, it's Ashley Jones from Swamp People.
Yeah.
And she would always tell me, like, I feel weird introducing myself like that. Well, and I told her, I was like, don't worry about it. I'll
You're
introduce you
like, I don't feel weird about it at
As
all.
your friends, we take that pride. Well, talk about the armory.
Yeah, that's what
talk
next thing I was
about the
going to
armory.
ask.
So I have just opened a armory.
Mm-hmm.
I do law enforcement full time, but I started painting guns about 2 years ago, and I ran out of room in my shop at my house, and it was just one of those things like make it or break it type situations.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate enough to team up with another group, Cow Dog Arms. They own the building, and they allowed me to rent the space in the front part so I could actually have a storefront. So what I do is I Cerakote and gun coat guns, break it down, sandblast it, paint it, and I do all different kinds of designs. And if anybody is interested, I have a website, IvanaWilliamsArmory.com, or you can just look up on Google and find our store hours and our location and all that. But it's been very exciting to open a business, and not really only that, you realize who your supporters are once you open that business. And I now have people come up to me and say, how's the armory doing? And it makes me excited because I didn't think I had that support, and I kind of was just going off of a whim and hoping that people would support me whenever I opened. And I realized that there are a lot of people that are behind me and want to see me succeed, and I am very honored that I actually have that opportunity to do the store and actually get to meet people through the store.
Yeah.
I've had somebody that's come up to the store and they say, is this a woman or a female-owned business? And the guy I have that works for me, his name's Lance Barrett, and he's a great guy. And he's like, yes, it's owned by a female. She works here in Mississippi as, in law enforcement. And so people are supporting not only because I'm in law enforcement, but because it's a female-owned business, which is very rare.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited to see where this leads me in life, and how many people I actually get the opportunity to meet with the armory. But now it's your turn. Talk about it.
Well, I've already talked a little bit about my operation that we have at home, but my husband and I run Avery Farms in Florida, Mississippi, and we have a cow-calf operation of registered Angus cattle, and then we also have some Angus cross cattle that could be registered within some other breeds. But I am the 7th generation of a cattle-producing family, so it goes. I'm extremely proud of my background, and that's
Deep roots.
Deep roots, and it's something that I do take pride in, and I want to make my grandfather and my grandmother and my mom and dad very proud, and we continue to do that with my husband and I. My husband also, like I said, bales about 1,000 acres of hay. Right now, we've been concentrating this year sending hay out to Texas and Oklahoma. We have some some truck drivers that have their CDLs that are able to drive out to Texas and Oklahoma and give all the farmers and ranchers out there the hay that they need throughout the winter, because they've had such a terrible drought throughout the year. So that's one of the things that I'm passionate about, is supporting those farmers and ranchers out there, just because we are a team and we're all in the industry together. And I know if something happened down here in Mississippi, that they would be the first ones to call. So I'm very proud to be able to help them. And, we all come from different industries and all come from different backgrounds, but it is something that's very unique that we can come together and I guess, I mean, if you truly think about it, hunting is what brought us together, and it normally never would, because we probably would have never crossed paths before. And it's coming from the different backgrounds and coming together and feeding off ideas with each other, we realize that we can hopefully make a purpose and reach out to other women from different backgrounds that would normally not be able to do this.
Yeah.
We all have such different backgrounds that, you know, as strong as we feel like we are, there's always something that I can learn from her and learn from Ivana. Like, there's always something to be learned. And it's nice to know and trust the person that, you know, you want to learn from.
Yeah. Well, and like I said earlier, I have 2 daughters, and I want them to feel comfortable in the outdoors, and I want them to have the opportunity to have that be part of their lives. You know, and I've thought about that a lot the last few years, you know, and it's like, it just goes back to thinking about when I was growing up, and that just didn't happen. At least not around here. It didn't. I don't know about other places, but I just didn't know any girls that were into it. And but I thought it would be as much as I've gotten out of it in my life, it would be a shame for them
To miss out.
Yeah, to miss out on that.
Our license rates are going down at such a dramatic rate that, I mean, Mississippi's not even going to be able to support, you know, just our national wild refuges and things like that, just because people aren't buying new license.
Yeah.
You know,
And I read last year about that the increase in female hunters the last couple of years has bolstered it a little bit, and that if it weren't for that, it would be especially dire, you know, right now.
That's great.
So, you know, it's a big table. The more the merrier, I say.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I know y'all got a long drive back, but so I wanted to ask about the foundation again. Are y'all set up to where people can donate to it? Or how is that? Where is it? What stage is it at? And how would other people get involved in it if they wanted to?
So basically, all we have to do is set up a bank account now. We have our 501c3.
Okay, good.
And we have our bylaws and all that. And so we're just waiting to set up a bank account. And once we set that up, we'll probably post on our social media pages. And every time we do a live, we'll post on there where you can contribute if you choose to do so. And that money goes, of course, to the foundation. And in that, we plan on growing it and hoping to do the Mardi Gras Brawl. That'd be our first major event.
Mm-hmm.
But we are doing one at the Armory in the Saturday after Thanksgiving. It's called Cookies with Santa.
Okay.
And Santa's going to be there. It's $10 to participate. You get some cookies and hot cocoa, and you get a picture with Santa. And the main thing is that $10 goes to the foundation in hopes that we can help other people along the way once we actually get our feet off the ground.
Yeah, yeah. So what's the if somebody wanted to go to the Armory, what's the address?
So it's in Pearl, Mississippi. It's 306 North Beardeman. But you can look up Ivana Williams Armory on Google, and it will take you right there. And it will show you the store hours and days we're open and a little bit about us.
And what about Sippi Girls? You mentioned your social media. What all are y'all on, and how would somebody find you on there?
So we have Instagram, it's Sippi Girls, and then we also have a Facebook page called Sippi Girls. But if you want to go on either one of our pages, Ashley Jones, Ashley Deadeye Jones, Ivana Williams, or Ivana Williams Armory, and then you have Emma.
I would be Emma Powell, or Emma Collins Powell, actually. And then our farm page is Emma and Robert Powell Avery Farms. And then you can see different things that we do. We'll all be on each one of our personal pages and on our business pages be doing either personal posts, but also group post when it comes to the Sippi Girls, and we'll be tagging that in there. But definitely follow the Sippi Girls page on Facebook.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to let y'all get out of here and go home, but enjoyed having y'all up, and had a great morning out there hunting. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a great time.
We really did.
That was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Y'all have to come back. Please like us, share us, subscribe to us. You can check us out wherever you like to get your podcast, or you can go straight to www.troutvalleyquail.com and click on the Standing Point tab to subscribe, and you'll get all of our content right into your inbox, totally free. If you would like to advertise with us or support us, please email me at cal@troutvalleyquail.com, and I will get the information to you. This episode is brought to you by OLR Realty in Oxford, Mississippi. You can go check them out at www.olragency.com, and buy a kind gift from Mr. Houston Stewart. Thank you.